Hi, my name is Amy Heyse, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to draw Joseph. We're going to be using simple lines and simple shapes, and I'm going to explain everything step by step. For this project, you need a piece of paper, a pencil, and something to color with. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on Joseph's head. So his head kind of has like an oval or egg shape, rounded at the top, but we want the bottom to be more squared off for where his beard is going to go. So I'm going to start at the top of the head and create the first curves of my oval, kind of like this. But then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to have it be a little bit more flat, like this, where I want his beard to go later. Then I'm going to do a V for his neck right underneath the beard. So right underneath the neck and kind of towards this left side, I'm going to put a square kind of shape. So it's not quite a circle, not quite a square. This is just blocking out where his hand is going to go later. And then I'm going to start to put in this staff. So I'm going to start kind of close to the head and put in a diagonal line and stop at my hand. And then I'm going to continue this line down towards the bottom of my paper like this. So it's a big long diagonal line, and I'm going to do a parallel diagonal line that's matching the same angle as the line I just drew. And when I get to the bottom, I'm going to connect them with a little curve like this. So the top of his staff is crooked. It's curved kind of like a question mark. So I'm going to start on this right side of the staff and curl it out and around, going past where this line is. So curved kind of like a question mark. And I want it to match on this side, so I'm just kind of following the same curve, creating a curve kind of like a question mark, and that creates the other side of his staff. Next, we're going to be putting in the top of his cloak, so I'm going to be putting a curved line from his chin and stopping at that staff. Then on this right side, I'm going to do a little diagonal kind of curved line for this part of the shoulder. And I'm going to draw a curve, kind of like a smile, underneath that neck to create the top part of his cloak. Then I'm going to draw some diagonal lines, one on the left side and one on the right side. So starting kind of where the staff is, I'm going to draw a diagonal line towards the left and a diagonal line towards the right. Before I connect that, I'm going to draw in this sleeve for this hand. So starting at the hand, I want you to draw a line that kind of comes towards where the cloak is, and it's going to curve kind of like a letter C. I'm going to stop before I hit the staff, and then I want to draw a line straight up towards where the hand is, connecting them together. So big curve. And I want the sleeve to be open just a little bit, so I want to add a little line kind of coming down. That way it looks like the sleeve is open just a little bit. Over on this right side, I want to draw a line that connects this cloak and has it swoop over towards the staff and then comes up on the other side like this. Next, we're going to do the bottom part of the robe. So it's two slightly diagonal lines coming down on each side. So one will be kind of about the middle of the sleeve. So it's just going to slightly angle towards the left, and I'm stopping it before it reaches the bottom of where my staff is. And then on the opposite side, leaving a little bit of space here for where the arm's gonna go, I'm going to do a slight diagonal line coming out this way. I want to connect these lines with a curve, kind of like a smile. And then I want to put in 2 curves for the toes that are peeking out from under the cloak. So one's going to go closer towards this left side. I start at an angle coming out towards the left, and then I swoop it towards the right until it connects at my robe. And I'm going to put another one over on this right side. And depending on where your staff is, you may or may not have as much room. My staff's just angled a little bit more than in this example. But wherever you decide to put that toe, you just want to make sure that if your staff is crossing, you just stop and continue that line on the opposite side like that. We're going to add in a belt. So underneath this curve of this cloak that we had earlier, we're going to match that curve by adding a line underneath. I stop at the staff and I continue on the other side. We're going to put in kind of an L shape, like an upside down L shape for this tool. So I'm going to do a diagonal line, making sure that if I have it hit the belt, I stop and continue that line on the opposite side. And then I'm going to do one line that goes across like that. So it's like the letter L, but upside down. I want this to come down just a little bit, and then match this line like that. And then I'm going to do a line that's parallel to this edge. So there's his little right angle measuring tool. We're going to be putting in a sleeve, so I'm leaving a little bit of a gap. This is the corner of the cloak. I'm leaving a little bit of a gap, so I'm starting a little bit in at a diagonal, and I'm going to do a curved line that connects to his robe for that sleeve. The hands, I have the thumb close to the body and the long fingers far away from the body. So I want to leave a little bit of space, and I want to start with a U shape for that thumb. And for now, I'm going to do a big U shape for the fingers. So the hand is going to look like a mitten to start. Once we get that main kind of mitten shape to create the overall shape of the hand, we can add in some lines for fingers. So I'm going to do one line coming down like that, and if I can fit one, I'll do another line. You don't have to have all 5 fingers showing, you can just have a few showing. And over here on the staff, I can also add in some fingers. So I can put in a line that's kind of going up for the thumb. And then I can separate these fingers by adding lines. So 1, 2, 3 lines, and then that creates the 4 extra fingers here. And I can erase any pencil lines that I don't need anymore. We're going to be doing the hair next. So I have Joseph's part over towards this left side, so right about here I'm going to put a little mark. That's where I want this top of the hair to be. I'm going to do a swoop towards the left, coming down about halfway, and I want to do a swoop on the right and have it come just past the head like so. I can put in some curved lines, kind of like a parenthesis, for where the ears are going to go. And then starting at the top of the head, I can make this hair come out just a little bit past the head, and I can have it connect down here. Do the same thing at the top. Have the hair come just a little bit past the head and then connect to the beard. And I can get rid of these lines since I no longer need them. For the face, I'm going to be putting in little circles for the eyes. If you want to do different eyes, that's totally fine. I'm going to do 2 little circles around the middle of my head shape, and I'm going to do a smaller circle on the inside so we have a nice highlight. About halfway in between the eyes and the bottom of the beard, I want to put a little curve like a smile. This is going to be the bottom of the nose, and I have Joseph smiling in this example, so I'm going to do a slightly bigger smile line underneath like this. For the beard, it's kind of like the bottom part of a square, so there's a line that kind of comes under the nose and then it goes up. So starting on the nose, I'm going to do a line kind of going straight across, but before I reach the edge of the head, I'm going to have that line come up. So it's kind of boxy, like a square. Then I can add in some eyebrows. So I can start with just a little line above each eye, and if I want them thicker, I can kind of square them off like a rectangle. If I need to erase any extra lines, if I need to go back and change anything, now's a good time to do it. One thing that I like to do when I color is I like to outline my pencil lines with a pen. You don't have to do this. You could even just darken your lines thicker with a pencil if you wish, and you can color it however you choose. I'm going to be using markers, but you could use colored pencils, paints, you could even do a combination of a bunch of things. So I will fast forward through the next step, and feel free to color along with me during this time. Thank you so much for following along with today's drawing tutorial. I would love to see how your Joseph drawings turned out. Feel free to tag me on social media. If you enjoyed following along with today's art tutorial, you can give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date on other Catholic-inspired art tutorials. I want to remind you that you are loved. God loves you very much, and He loves your artwork very much. Thank you so much for drawing along with me.